Make me feel young now. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge the Yara people on whose country, past, present, and future, that we do our presentation, and I also acknowledge Rangelands Society for inviting us to do a presentation here.
And also the rest of the traditional owners that travel far from around Australia. Thank you.
Okay, I know I'm nervous. I've done this so many times.
We're a little bit nervous just because we had the tour out at one arm and we didn't have a chance to actually go through the presentation. So bear with us.
Hopefully we'll do all right. Okay, a bit of history first. The Dampier Peninsula Fire Working Group was created in 2016 because of a lot of wildfires were burning a lot of country in the Dampier Peninsula, so north of Broome. I was at Beagle Bay when the 2015 fire came through, and this is a huge fire. Started in Yida Station. They said it was a lightning strike. Burned through Country Downs, I believe, had to get evacuated, and jumped the road towards Carnet Bay and got close to Broome as well, so it was a pretty extensive fire. Azton will probably talk about the map later, you'll see. So the group was created after that. Just in other words, just said, nah, we just need to stop. So it's a mix of pretty much all of those guys, DFES, Yaru, Bardi Jawi, Nyul Nyul Rangers, pastoral leases, main roads. Just got together and said, no, it's enough, and we need to do something about it. And of course, I should mention Rangelands has been facilitating that since we've started, which is great.
Well, the reason why that we're coming together to collaborate and do fire management on Bardi Jawi, Dampier Peninsula, is because even before 2016, Rangers and all the other government departments, pastorals, we all were doing good management on country, doing early season burns, but it's the late season fire that comes through and wipe out all that good work that happens earlier in the year. And you can see from the maps, 2013 to your left, to your right, 14, 15, the orange, if you can see any orange on there, that's early season burns. All the red are late season fires that come on country. And that's been happening even though that we do good work through and early in the year. But you can see the late season, it's a big area. And we wanted to change that, so we had to come together and collaborate to see where the missing links are.
The Dampier Peninsula Fire Working Group is made up of different landholders. So we've got 5 native title groups within the peninsula, 3 ranger groups, which is Yaru, us, and Bardi Jawi, 4 pastoral stations, 2 shires, I think it's Broome and Derby, and Watercorp as well. And then we've got the other organizations, like I did that, DFES, WADBCA, Rangelands, Environments Kimberley, Main Roads, WWF, Sheffield Resources, Kimberley Land Council, and Charles Darwin University. And if you look at the map there, you can sort of get an idea of the area that myself and Ashton works in. So to the top of the peninsula, just kind of Bardi Jawi, and sort of middle, this point of works, that square there is kind of us. So it's pretty huge.
Ever since the group was made, we have project objectives. We have 4. We want to collaborate peninsula-wide fire management together. We want to create material to communicate and raise awareness about the project. We want to increase capacity of the project. and we're using science and knowledge to adapt to our management. At the start of the year, the Dampier working group will come together. We'll present our individual fire planning, and then we'll put it all together, and then we'll see where the missing links, where there's no fire management, and then we'll try to work together to manage that area. These are our targets that we want to measure. We want less hot fires in the late dry season, as you guys seen on the previous maps. We want to burn areas to be small, so animals don't have to travel too far. So we got it's not too far from a burnt area to an unburnt area. Yeah. And then we want to have more mixed vegetation, unlung vegetation in them areas too, for specific plants and animals that need different seeds at different times. Yeah, another one. Come on, one more. And one more. Yeah. This is some of the information that 2015. I need a little pointer. Yeah, 2015, you can see how much fire, that was a real bad fire. 2022, that was also a bad fire, real bad fire. But if you look, you can see all these black areas inside the red. There was only 50% burnt in those late season fires. So half of the vegetation was still intact in the late season fires. And if you even look at the graphs from here, 2004 to 2015, before the project happened, you can see that we've got more higher areas in the we got the lowest of the highest is around 20, and then the highest of the highest is around 40. That's the fire severity. Back before we were collaborating. And when we started collaborating, you can see the difference is way down, even the high is way down, under our baseline average that we want. Next one. And this graph shows the distance from burnt to unburnt area. Sorry. You can see before the project, and then when the project started. Before the project happened, we had up to 1.8 kilometers from a burnt area to an unburnt area to around 1,200 or 1.2 k's. So that's still a fair bit of way to get to an unburnt area for little mammals and reptiles to have shelter and food. That's the averages, and then that's the max averages that used to happen. And you can see in the max averages, that's about 7 k's to 10 k's. And then we also dropped that when the project came in. We're going down to 2K, and our max probably around 7. And it's still under our project's baseline that we plan to meet. Unburnt habitat for animals and plants that needs 3+ seeds and habitat. This is a bad year for fire, and the 2022 is a bad year for fire as well. But you can see the 1-year-old is red everywhere. The 1-year-old in 2022 is much smaller, and it's more smaller patches. And it's not all of country getting burned. We've got a mixture of 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old. Starting to have more color on that map, not just one. And that's getting better in the country from working together. We can see that clearly, and they're both bad years.
Yeah, and I guess one of the big things we've tried to do before the planning and stuff for our fire is to communicate and raise awareness about the project, so letting people know that it's, how it started and what a big success it has become, working with Rangelands and the rest of our collaborators. So we're talking about the project at meetings, bringing it to the schools, doing two-way science with the schools as well, with myself and Bardi. We've had a couple of publishing our results in science literature, and we've been talking to community, distributing information like posters and flyers with information, and the work that's been done since 2016 and how it's worked. Yeah, like Azton said earlier, before 2016 there was almost no prescribed burning on the peninsula. Now each ranger team, between us all, so us, Bardi and Yaru, do about 4 to 6 weeks of prescribed burning, usually between May and August. Pastoralists do about 2 to 4 weeks, and DFES and DBCA each do about 2 to 3 weeks. So, the collaboration is working and it's getting better.
And when we do come together to do those early our meetings earlier in the year, this is where we can sort of assist with our plans and use different groups to help, and what training and what level the different ranger groups are at, and we can work together to try and help manage the areas that's not getting managed, and build our capacity and development in the ranger team.
We'll have to try and be quick because I've looked at the time,
Yeah.
So using science and knowledge to adapt management. We have a system rigorously measuring the outcomes. So we did a prioritization workshop to find the best biodiversity metrics to monitor, and we have started the work. Monitoring vine thicket conditions, building monitoring, vegetation surveys. So you kind of see, I'm not going to explain the whole thing because it looks crazy. But I think it all plays a part with bad fires and good fires. So if we're going to have bad fires, we're going to not have very much animals left or native plant life and stuff like that. Whereas with good fires, you'd have a better chance of having more abundance of our bush food and medicines and animals. So that's kind of what that sort of explains, I think, in a more sophisticated kind of way.
More big trees, more habitat, more, just more of everything. Less of that, we'll have less of everything else along that line.
So quickly, some of the challenges we have is funding. Of course, I think everybody gets that sometimes. Short-term or never enough. Infrastructure and assets, not enough. Dealing with the scale. So, just for myself, we've kind of saw the area that we have to work in. I've only got a team of about probably 8 or 10 now with the ladies. And it's a big area for big teams. So, dealing with arson, which is a big issue for myself and Azton as well. We've got people coming, so I'll say this, mainly locals and families that come in after we finish our burn season and think, I'm going to light this, and it doesn't help. Last year, I had to actually ask Azton and Bardi Jawi for help. We had to fight a fire for 3 days on Nyul Nyul country that was threatening 3 communities that was lit up in November. So after that, there were 3 days, didn't sleep. So it was pretty crazy. And the area that was burned that time was the sacred area. And some person, when they decided to light up because they didn't want snakes in their house. So it does get frustrating because all the work we do is we're trying to be as efficient as possible. Dealing with arson, communicating with the TOs across many of our stations to make sure infrastructure is safe. Myself plus Bardi Jawi, probably Yaru as well, do hold meetings before we start burning to get everyone together to talk about our plan, what we want to do when we're in their area and that stuff. It's hard to kind of get everybody in the same room at the same time sometimes. That's a big challenge.
Dealing with the arsonists because of big scale country, it's hard to know who's out there and who's doing it, to communicate that back to traditional owners and their outstations. But the only thing we can do is map what we've burnt, map what's late season and what's not our burns, and that's how we can go back to the communities and tell that story.
And that's us.
And
Thank
that's
you.
us. And that presentation we just presented on behalf of the Dampier Working Group.
Maybe one question, if anybody. No? Any questions? I'll take one from the floor. We've got a little bit of time. Oh, yep, there we go.
Andrew Craig, asking you how, with a lot of burning happens either early and some late, how do the cattle get on for having enough tucker, or do they have to reduce their numbers of cattle to sort of balance it all up?
I think I was the leader of the passage, but where we are with the closest pastoralist we have is Country Downs. Now, they sort of do their burns a bit later in the year because of grass. When we do our sort of burns, we kind of make sure that it does not try to not impact their area. And so far it's been really good. I think that's why DFES kind of does some early season burns around the pastoral's boundaries that meet ours. So I think that kind of answers your questions. Yeah.
Can I just add to that? Up in Bardi Jawi country, we don't have much cattle. What I can say is that maybe we've been doing a lot of good fire management, and now there's a lot of cattle coming up.
That's good.
Sorry. So, yeah, good answer. Sorry, was there another one or no? Well, I'll take one more and then, yeah.
My name is Maya. I work for the Department of Ag in WA. It just seems like you guys are doing some great work, and you're improving the value of the land. You're having trouble with funding, yet you're improving the value of these pastoral leases. There could be a capacity there for people to support that through those pastoral leases. In the future, I don't know, but you're benefiting that production side. So
Yeah, well, I think just fall back with Country Downs, they have been pretty involved with us since the group was created. When it comes to that, and this is another question, but yeah, I mean we've talked about supporting them and their burns, and they support us as well. But at the moment, it's kind of not there yet. But yeah, maybe in the future.
And I guess that's why we want to do these measurements and stuff, so then we can start to back ourselves, so we can start to try and get that funding to show what work we were doing. And yeah.
All right. Well, thanks. And one more really great work.